Welcome to the 10th episode in our series Career Guidance with Professor Ronald Pinto. We have covered a lot of distance in the past 8 or 9 episodes. But today it's a very important episode because when you leave college, everybody knows you in college. You've been there for 3 years, you've been there for 5 years maybe in college. Your professors know you, your teachers know you, the students know you. You have achieved something in college, you're recognized. But when you go out to a job interview, when you're called into an interview room, you are still not a known entity. You have to make an impression. And how much time do you have to make an impression? Very little. So, learning how to face an interview, which is a very key factor in securing a job. For that matter, even if you are an entrepreneur, if you are going to secure some finance for your project, you have to face an interview with the financial institutions. How do you present yourself? And what do you have to tell them in those 5 to 10 minutes or that you get to impress people with your credentials? What is it that you can do? This is the subject of our episode today. And welcome Professor Ronald Pinto to this episode. Let me just ask you a very relevant question, something that I was just talking about. Why do companies have an interview at all? They have your CV, they have your marks transcript, they have your photograph, and they can make a decision instantaneously. Maybe they even have a test which they have conducted for you and they have your marks in front of them. So why do they need to have an interview?
This is an excellent question because in most of the colleges where I go for final year postgraduates or graduation, students ask, sir, we are good in our studies, we got 90-80% marks, but why people harassing us in the name of interview? Actually, an employer, they don't want your brain. At the same time, they also want your skills. So the brain, and they can find out now from your marks, and sometimes people by heart. Whereas the skills you cannot by heart. Academic excellence, employability are completely different subjects. It seems in India, 70% people are actually not having employability, whereas the 30% people only have those skills. Now, an employer wants to find out, if I employ a particular candidate, how much profit I can get from this person, and that's why he wants the best person. The name of the word interview itself is entrevoir from the French language, a glimpse of the right candidate for the right job. So only by conducting a face-to-face interview, you can find out. Now for fun, I am telling you an example of a marriage. There are many advertisements for the marriage. People go on, apply, they fall in love over the email and so on. But later when they meet, there is a big difference, what we say, ajagajantara, and suddenly divorce it seems in 1 second. Like that, even the interview, people go on giving their CV big one. But when they come to the interview room, they are speechless. They have no self-confidence. Okay, they are all so much shaky in expressing themselves. What is the use of having such people? That's why to get the right candidate for the right job, interviews is a must for all jobs now, starting clerical till the IAS officer.
Okay, but you need to be confident when you go into the interview room, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you develop that confidence? Is it by practice, by talking to other, having a panel of mock interviews, or what's the way of developing that confidence?
During the student life, we should not confine ourselves to only classrooms. We should have got many friends, we should take part in many activities. There are Toastmasters Club, Debating Club, many Rotary Club, Leo Club, or there are many organizations like Make a Difference. You have to meet many people, organize many programs in the college, and there you get the chance to interact with the people. How to talk, how to interact, what's the body language, all these things will come only by practice. So instead of simply becoming a bookmark and getting marks, what I have found out as a vice principal and a professor in my college is those students who are smart, active, dynamic, taking part in extracurricular activities and so on, just 60% people, even science students are taken by JP Morgan company and some banks and so on, private banks. whereas the students who have got 90, 80s but who are not ready in any field except the studies, they are not having any job chances.
Yeah, that is increasingly becoming true, because I think most companies are looking at all-round personalities, not just your marks, which are comparatively easy to get given our education system. There are different types of interviews. You have, of course, group discussions, part of it also, but there are different types of interviews. You can perhaps elaborate on that for our viewers, and also how should you dress when you go for an interview? These are two things I think our students and their parents would like to know.
Now, there are many companies which follow different strategy depending upon their number and convenience. So, there are interviews like this: director interviews, structured interviews, board and panel interviews, stress interviews, group interviews, appraisal interviews, and so on. Now, it will take a lot of time to explain all this. If you go to Google, you will get all the details. Some companies want urgently, so they don't conduct any written test and all, directly call the people large number, and they conduct what are called group interviews. They ask a question, who are the first 10-15 people to answer beautifully, they select, and then they later conduct individual interviews. So, first group interviews to select out of 100 10 people, and then out of 10 5 people by a small board, and then out of 5 next 2 are actually still a hair board. Actually, I remember my neighbor was interviewed 5 different teams. One is in Mangaluru, one is in Bengaluru, one in Chennai, and finally it was in Dubai. So, like that. So, today interviews are also getting changed. First ordinary people, local people, then hire people, last finally CEO, because he is the one, especially if he gives salary of 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs per month, he has to choose the best candidate. So, that way interviews are now differing. And after the lockdown, many interviews are becoming now virtual interviews. You are not meeting personally the person board there. You are sitting in your room, and they will call you first interview, second interview, third interview, and so on. And for this, you have to get prepared. Even at home, they will ask questions like just like the boardroom, and preferably or purposely they want to put stress on you. For example, my daughter was asked a question, today you are looking very dull, your marks are very good, you are not inspiring, what happened? She became completely upset, but the very next day Hindustan Unilever sends a letter to her, you are selected. Now, first day she was completely downcast, saying that I am rejected, but people purposely want put the candidate in the interview for stress, whether you got emotional stability, can you manage, like that. So, the interviews are changing as the time passes by, Brian.
Yeah, okay. But how should you, I mean, when you are in a virtual interview, obviously, at least your upper body, you have to dress it well. But when you actually go in for a physical interview, how should you dress?
Yeah, very good. See, many people do not know how to dress for an interview. You are going to a stranger's place. There we have 2, 3, 4, 5 members who are completely strangers looking at you first time. So, dress is the first thing they observe in you. So, clean, well pressed dress, need not be brand new, but clean, well pressed. There should not be gaudy. Many people use dark colored clothes and so on. And ladies especially don't wear salwar or saris except IAS or teaching. Nowadays they want a business suit or formal dress. So, men and women with formal dress, clean and what I should say, well pressed and presentable. Also, the girl should not have do a lot of makeup or have a lot of jewelry, all gold, diamond to exhibit there, and don't put a lot of perfume. All these things are actually negative. Be natural and be in a dress appropriate to the job. For clerical job, ordinary jobs, a shirt and a pant, what is called formal dress, okay. For executive job, a tie and a suit, okay, or at least blazer. And for girls like MB, MC, people wear, you have to have business suit or western outfit. That will be better for the company jobs. But for IAS and government jobs, for women, sari, and for men, a formal dress is the ideal.
Obviously, they have seen your transcripts and everything else. But what documents do you need to carry to an interview?
Many people do not know what documents to carry, and they simply come with just one mask card. It is not true. One Xerox copy or original copy of your CV, because what you have written, in the CV, cover letter, CV, then your academic history, SLC marks card, PUC marks card, degree and post graduation. Then you have career history, where all you have worked, what projects, what awards you have won, that particular point. So these points all should be together in a very good file. Some people put in ordinary Udayavani paper or Times of India or some ordinary paper. You should have a good file. In that file you have to arrange first your CV and then academic history, career history, awards won, reference letters, all these things must be together, and whenever they are, should not go for searching where it is worth searching, and sometimes I found during lecturer's interview the file falls down because they are not properly inserted the documents. They should be actually well arranged and put in a very good file, and that file should be lasting for at least 2, 3, 4 years during your graduation, post graduation. And you should have got many interviews which are called mock interviews. Wherever there are interviews, simply go for the interviews, and there you will get the experience of how to enter, how to sit, how to talk. You get experience and you will get confidence.
Loyola Degree College, Bengaluru, a prestigious institution run by the Jesuits of Karnataka. The institute provides an advantage of choosing between varied choices of subjects in commerce and arts. Being a Loyolite, experience modern teaching and learning infrastructure. Students of journalism have additional guided facilities in filmmaking, videography and photography. Coaching facilities provided for professional courses CA and CS. 3-day national media tour for journalism students and industrial visit for commerce students. Avail attractive scholarships for better learning. Be rest assured of your safety as the campus follows all COVID protocols. Mix and socialize with peers of multicultural backgrounds. Well-equipped library, multiple sports facilities and encouragement to extracurricular activities. Explore more about exciting careers and higher learning opportunities under the guidance of the placement cell of the college. Here, you not only get formal education, but you get education for life. Begin your venture of knowledge at Loyola Degree College.
Be the change by being at Loyola Degree College.
For online applications, visit www.loyolacollegeblr.com and call or WhatsApp at 94482 77758 or 9148229651.
In fact, that's my next question. You shouldn't dance into the interview room. I think, how do you get in? How do you go into the interview room? Do you sit first if they are standing, or do you wait for them to sit down and then you sit down? And then, what are the pleasantries that you need to start with or end with?
Excellent question. Normally, there one clerk or attender comes and tells, "Sir, get in." Now you should not immediately hurry up because these are all busy in discussing with an earlier candidate or writing something. You have to ask, "Sir, may I get in please?" Then they say, "Get in." So you are walking now, not briskly, with the proper speed, what we call the upright walking or military bearing walking or dashing forward walking, no slow steps, full of confidence, actually light smile on your face, go straight to the board of the interview and stand in front of the chairman, and if they are looking at you, wish good morning sir, or if there is a madam, first good morning madam, good morning sirs, and don't sit down immediately until they say please take your seat. Some people go there and suddenly sit there. That is not the point. They have to make sure that they tell you please be seated and then sit.
Okay, so then you can start off the interview once you're finished with all the pleasantries, and when they start asking you questions, I suggest, from my personal experiences, don't speak out of turn unless you're asked a question, and preferably you answer to the point. That's what I personally feel from my experience. So what are the common questions that they would ask? I know one of them is strengths and weaknesses, and tell me about yourself. These are common questions that I know of. Perhaps you can elaborate.
People should have many actually mock interviews at home in front of your dressing table, because this is not very easy. They are all experts. You cannot actually fake it or whatever things you tell should be told clearly, loudly, and that makes a lot of practice, just like singing and so on. So what you should do is these commonly asked questions like, first, why did you choose this particular subject, chemistry, physics, or mechanical engineering, or journalism? Second, what do you know about our company? Okay, you have to go to the internet and find out what is MRPL, what is L&T, what is Johnson and Johnson, who started, when started, what are the headquarters, and so on. So company about. Then the next question is, what are the headlines today? They want to know whether you are simply seeing this TV or current events, headlines today. And then today you are should be all rounder. What about sports and games? Are you interested? What about the latest films you have seen? Are you interested in this? Then what salary you expect? Okay, they are asking questions. Are you ready to go anywhere we send to you? This is the modern question. Many people say, no sir, I am from Mangaluru, I want to work in Mangaluru. If you say like that, no use. In the next 5 years, where you will be? One girl from Mangaluru was asked to come for a bank officer's job. When they asked in the next 10 years where you will be, she said surprisingly, I want to become CEO of your bank. They were all surprised. This is just a BCom girl and CEO and telling I want to become CEO in 10 years. Normally you become CEO when you are 50s, 55s. But she says in the next 10 years means in the next 35 years, when I am 35 years, I want to become CEO. Then they asked how you are going to do. She knew every aspect of the banking job, banking positions, what they have to do and all. They were so impressed, they gave the job. And she was actually promoted within 1 year, it seems, to officer. Within the next 1 year, she was made to deputy manager. That shows the confidence they have and people preparedness. So that way, in case you study very well about the company, about the various positions, technical aspects and so on, they will be very much thrilled that you have made a lot of homework and you have gone to the interview.
Any don'ts that you should keep in mind when you go for an interview? Any don'ts?
Yeah, obviously.
Do's we have told many, but what about don'ts?
In many interviews, people actually become very timid. They are traveling whole night by studying. Next night, no sleep at all. Now, please don't prepare too much. Have a nice sleep. You should be fresh. And nowadays, no traffic jam in Bangalore and all. To travel 1 hour. About 10 kilometers taking 1.5 hours or sometimes 2 hours, and people reach late. Campus is so big, about 15 acres it seems in Bangalore for a company like say Wipro or L&T and all. So there to find out where the venue is also a problem. Sometimes there are traffic jams, election rallies or heavy rain and so on. So you should be reaching in time. Again, don't bluff. If you don't know, you tell, sir, I don't know, sir. Excuse me, sir, I don't know about. Free tell. And answer immediately. Don't know, simply actually take time because they become irritated. If you know, you tell correctly. If you don't know, actually tell, no, sir, I don't know. And become brief, because for them the 10-15 minutes are very precious. They want to ask many questions. If you go on tell about yourself. If you tell, so I was born here, there, nothing. Tell just 2 or 3 sentences, tell about yourself. Okay. Similarly, tell about your say college or school life and all. Don't go on telling, just 2-3 sentences. They just want to find out now whether you can talk boldly and clearly and you have got confidence of talking.
Now you have got it. These are things that you should avoid. And one very, I don't know, it's a philosophical question or even a rhetorical question, the last one in this episode. Does actually influence work in interviews?
In private companies, many officers, they choose the candidate which their employees recommend. There is a saying, a devil is better than unknown angels. There are many unknown angels spread all over India and the world, people do not know. But a company employee, if he has got very good rating and very good integrity, if he actually recommends some person, then the boss thinks, oh, this is the person who is recommending, we shall take. So I have found out that many companies, private companies, choose the candidate during interview based upon the recommendations of their employees. But in government companies also, interview may work based upon the contact you have. But there no limited it is. For example, IAS, it is 1,725 for the written exam, only 275 marks for the interview. So both marks are added. So interview will not play much greater role, because a person going for interview may get at least 50%, a person with influence may get 90%, but your written examination marks are so many, even in the bank also, interview role is not much. So don't please actually think that influence always works. It may work to a small extent, but to counteract that, what you should do is do very well in the interview. So many people in Mangaluru and other places in Gujarat or Rajasthan, I heard that 3 sisters passed IAS who are from very poor background. It is the continued hard work, preparations that make successful in the written examination. Interview part from Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi, well groomed people who have joined coaching classes and mock interview, they may become successful, but always these marks are added to the written examination marks and final selection is done.
Now we are all different personalities, and the way we project ourselves in interviews will be different, and the people who are actually judging us, who are sitting on the other side of the table, they also come from different backgrounds, and they will put their pooled experiences together to make a judgment on whether you are good or not. So you have to keep all these factors in mind, prepare well, face the mirror, face a mock interview, be as expanded in your personality as possible. That means well rounded. Take part in all activities in school and college. Doesn't matter if you don't win, but try to build up an all round personality so that when you go for an interview, all these things will come out when you speak, and with that you will ace the interview. You have already aced writing the CV, you already aced the interview. We'll see what we can do in the next episode. With that, I'd like to say a big thank you to Professor Ronald Pinto for helping all of us out on how to face a job interview. If you need more details, please write to Professor Ronald Pinto at his email ID given in the show. We'll see you again for the next episode coming up soon. Thank you.